Good morning, everyone. I'm Brock Bowers.
I'm Lauren Chen.
I'm Isabel Goralski.
And I'm Nick Laudermoser.
We are proposing a water filter that implements a silica aerogel to remove microplastics from drinking water. The problem. So it's widely known that parents, especially millennial moms, go way over the top when it comes to buying products to ensure their children's safe development. The baby food and drink market is expected to exceed $80 billion by 2024. And parents spend all this money to perfect their kids' upbringing, but yet they're unknowingly leaving them susceptible to the ingestion of a potentially deadly contaminant, microplastics. So I'm sure many of us have heard about the whale found dead in the Philippines with 88 pounds of plastic in its stomach. But marine animals aren't the only victims of this dramatic increase of plastic waste. Microplastics are tiny plastic pieces, ranging from 10 nanometers to 5 millimeters, and they're everywhere. Microplastics can cross biological barriers and act as carriers for toxins, which are then released into our bodies. To make matters worse, a lab study showed that microplastics bioaccumulated in the livers, gut, and kidneys of mice that were fed microplastics and ultimately caused cancer in the areas that they were present. Now, get ready for this. These contaminants are found in 94% of all U.S. tap water and 93% of all bottled water. We actually took these images of microplastics that we found in a sample of Arrowhead water using a scanning electron microscope. The average at-home water filter doesn't filter out these contaminants, and unless parents want their precious children at risks for these long-term effects leading up to cancer, microplastic consumption needs to be reduced. Our solution is a filter to remove microplastics, the Ultra Clear Microfilter, made of easily recyclable PET plastic that contains no BPAs, as shown here in its two forms, an at-home filter and a portable water bottle.
So this is a cross-section of what our filter would look like, and the silica aerogel would be functionalized to be hydrophobic, meaning it repels water, by replacing its surface hydrophilic groups with hydrophobic groups. And microplastics are also hydrophobic due to the chemical interactions between its monomers and water. The silica aerogel would have a 100 nanometer pore size, giving it a high surface area to volume ratio and maximum contact with microplastics. As seen in this video, the blue magic sand attracts to the microplastics present in the water due to its similar hydrophobic properties as silica aerogels. Because of this, we implemented magic sand into a conventional water filter and tested several different water samples under the SEM, and this is what we saw from before versus after filtration. And as you can see, the filter almost completely removed all of the microplastics, leading to the assumption that our actual filter would work.
So currently, reverse osmosis filters are used to remove microplastics from water. These cost around $600. Carbon block filters cost around $120 and are used to remove microplastics that are larger than 2,000 nanometers. LifeStraw sells filters for $19.95, which remove microplastics that are larger than 200 nanometers.
So as all of those filters remove microplastics, only our filter and LifeStraw are portable. However, LifeStraw can only filter out a minimal amount of water at a time, as our filter can filter out about 60 ounces at a time. Also, compared to reverse osmosis and carbon block filters, our filter is relatively cheap. Also, like a traditional Brita filter, our filter would need to be replaced once every 2 months for the price of $16.
We are asking for a total of $530,000 to fund the production of 10,000 units of our product. This chart shows how we plan on spending all of that money. Each unit would require $53 to make and would be sold for $68.99. After selling 10,000 units, a total profit of $159,900 would be accumulated.
First, we're going to test different prototypes of our product. Then we will apply for NSF 53 certification, which typically takes up to 6 months. During this time, we will be designing the packaging for our product. After that, we will apply for a preliminary patent, and we will get the workspace, workers, and machinery needed to produce our product. To advertise our product, we will first create a website and then put ads on social media sites such as Instagram and Twitter. We will also contact celebrities and mommy influencers, as you could say, like Chrissy Teigen, who will be able to create buzz for our product. After the first year, we plan to sell 10,000 units, which will conclude in a profit of about $159,000. We will use this money to pay for our advertisement and labor costs. Within 2 years, we want to start selling on top baby registry sites such as Target and Amazon, and also in specialty stores such as Whole Foods. We also want to expand our audience to those who are in fitness and nutrition. Within 4 to 5 years, we want to expand into the international market and sell to areas that are in need of clean water. Over time, we expect the price of our aerogels to drop by 90% as new manufacturing techniques allow it to do this. So if you are a parent or a parent-to-be, you should buy our product, as your child deserves only the absolute best. Thank you.
How do I stop the timer? There we
So
go.
you had a business plan, but I didn't see anything about space or personnel. So it was mostly production costs. So can you comment? I mean, I think you did an excellent job. I think you're like an order of magnitude low in the actual amount of money that it would take to do this. So could you comment, go back to that slide and then comment on what you might, I think you passed it? Or is it?
Is that one?
Yes. Go here, and could you comment on what you might need to add?
So our manufacturing space is incorporated into our machinery, which would kind of account for, space and inventory. And also labor would definitely cost a lot of money. So yeah, that's kind of that part. What else were you getting at?
This is your first year budget?
Yeah, to produce 10,000 units, which would take about a year to a year and a half, maybe more, to sell them all.
So how did you get the $300,000 for machinery, labor, and manufacturing space?
So we calculated about how much we were going to pay all of our employees. We multiplied that out to about how long it would take to manufacture all these. And then for about a year of manufacturing space at this place we found in Santa Clarita, we calculated the number of how much it would cost to rent that out for that time.
And equipment?
Yeah, that would include a lot of things such as a supercritical dryer, CO2 tanks, a stirring machine, chemical baths, and an injection molding machine, just to name a few. But that's also incorporated into the machinery cost.
So how do you plan on differentiating your product from other products that are on the market with particular interest to how do you explain how this works to people in a way that they'll understand it so that they understand it really is better and different?
Do you mean like how the silica aerogel works in the filter? Like how would we explain that to people?
Why would I buy this instead of, oh, dare I say, a Brita filter? And if in relation to a Brita filter, I think this is more expensive. So you are dealing in a highly technical aspect that a lot of people don't know about. I mean, people in this room know about nanotechnology, but most of our citizens don't. So how do you market with that challenge in mind?
Add one sentence to help you. I think you guys know the science from the things you said, but you didn't say it. So here's your opportunity to say it now.
So as microplastics are hydrophobic and our silica aerogel would be functionalized to be hydrophobic, the two hydrophobic nonpolar substances would attract to each other. And since our aerogel would have a 100 nanometer pore size, it would have maximum contact with microplastics, which means it would get as many microplastics, more microplastics than the life straw filters or reverse osmosis or carbon block. I mean.
But activated carbon is also hydrophobic. So that goes back to the initial question. How are you going to differentiate what you have from a Brita filter?
Well, the pore size on a Brita filter is 1,000 nanometers. And since microplastics go all the way down to 10 nanometers, they'll go through the filter. And so by us having that aerogel for the microplastics to adhere to, they shouldn't even get past the carbon, because in our here, where is it? In this, the layer of the silica aerogel would be above the activated carbon area, so it wouldn't even the microplastics shouldn't even reach the activated carbon because they should already be adhered to the silica aerogel before.
I am your next door neighbor. Sell me one of these. You've given me a wonderful scientific explanation, but how do you explain this in, say, 2 sentences to the layperson?
Okay. Well, I think
You don't want your baby to look like that.
Yeah. That's kind of our selling point.
And also, we found statistics like there's already microplastics in your blood, so.
Yeah, and in certain areas, there's microplastics in the air when you breathe it.
So real quick, can you go back to your cost slide? That one. Go back. Okay. So is your initial kind of selling kind of idea to sell directly to consumers, or are you going to sell through like a Target, or you sell through like a Best Buy or something like that?
To start out, we'd probably start selling to individual consumers. But as our product expands, we would definitely try and put it into the larger market.
So your packaging, shipping, and advertising, 9,000. Does that include shipping the product out to the person?
Yes.
So if I do my math correctly, that's about 90 cents cost for packaging, shipping, and advertisement. I'm not sure you can send anything a package in the United States for 90 cents. Right. And the other thing is you have basically a 20 some odd percent, 20 to 22% kind of gross margin there. That's gross margin, right? That doesn't even count your sales, marketing, and whatnot. That might be challenging to do because you need to do some marketing, right? As Sonia had mentioned, how are you going to get your word out kind of to it, right? A lot of big companies have marketing budgets roughly about 10% of their revenue sometimes, right? Especially consumer product, it gets a little higher. So if that's the case, you're selling 6,899, right? 10,000. So you have that 689,000, well, 689,000, right? That could pretty much eat most of your profits up. So something to think about. And as you go through distribution, have you guys looked at how much distribution would cost you, kind of how much you would sell to a Target or a Best Buy?
No, not quite yet, but definitely further in our research, we would definitely take that into account.
Okay.
One quick question.
Yeah. Just one quick question on filter replacements. So to buy a new filter, you mentioned, or your filter would be similar to a Brita and being replaced every 2 months. How is that calculated into this model? Is a filter sold separately, or is a whole unit sold as one piece?
The first initial filter, like the $68.99, that includes the piece also. But then like coming back, I think was the $16 one. That would like be another replacement for that filter.
So the replacement filter is $16?